Revealed, how my unexpected bodyguard transformed my rainy lesson into an inspiring life changer. The rain cascaded from the heavens, soaking everything in its path. Mia, huddled beside her broken-down car in a dark alley, could feel despair wrapping its cold fingers around her heart. It wasn't just another rainy afternoon, it felt like the world was conspiring against her. She had just finished yet another double shift at the diner, her body exhausted, her spirit drained. As puddles formed at her feet, glancing around the dimly lit alley, Mia felt vulnerable like nothing more than a sad figure, a single mother struggling against waves of judgment from every neighbor who turned their nose up at her cookie-cutter existence. At 32, Mia wore many hats: determined mother, hard-working waitress, dedicated cleaner, but those labels often felt heavy, like stones tied to her soul. As the raindrops battered down, mixing with the tears that threatened to spill from her eyes, she couldn't help but think of her kids waiting at home, depending on her to be both mother and provider. The weight of the world pressed down on her, and she felt her strength waver. Just then, through the curtain of rain, a shadow emerged. It was Jake, a local veteran with a rugged demeanor, stepping into view like a beacon of hope. Mia's chest tightened at his approach, a mixture of relief and fear. She didn't know him well, but she had often seen him around the neighborhood, face lined with stories untold. With an intense calmness, he stood tall, shielding her like a fortress against the oppressive atmosphere that enveloped her. "Need a hand?" he asked, his voice a soothing rumble amidst the storm. His presence was like a warm cup of coffee on a winter morning. In that moment, her heart, once racing with fear, began to slow. He warded off the creeping anxiety that threatened to overwhelm her. As he helped her get the car off the road, their brief exchange felt relatively monumental, forging an unexpected connection stitched together by shared struggles. "Mia," she said, introducing herself, feeling inane yet hopeful. "Jake," he replied with a guarded yet genuine smile, a hint of vulnerability flickering in his eyes. Days turned into weeks, and soon their accidental friendship blossomed over steaming cups of coffee at a worn-out cafe, a refuge from their realities. As they sat in the salvaged booth, they shared stories of their battles: Mia's relentless fight for stability, Jake's battle against an invisible yet persistent enemy, homelessness. They spoke of their dreams, how they clung to them like lifebuoys tossed into turbulent seas. The conversations lit a flame of hope in Mia's heart, softening the edges of judgment cast by their suburb. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Just as they began to feel a ripple of support from their small community, Mia's attempts to secure educational help for her children were met with bias and resistance from the very system meant to lift them up. It felt like a slap in the face, and she resolved to confront those barriers. But with every step she took, the road seemed to grow rockier. Relationships with others became strained as Jake faced his own crossroad. Friends from his past were demanding his return, pull him back into a world he thought he'd left behind. Now, as thunderstorms rumbled ominously outside, the ground felt unstable beneath them, both physically and emotionally. Mia and Jake knew they stood on the brink of something profound. The question loomed heavy: could they find the strength to fight the judgments handed down upon them, or would the storm of prejudice shatter their fragile friendship? The rain continued to pour, drowning out the uncertainty that surrounded them, leaving their fate tantalizingly unresolved. The weight of the decisions loomed over Mia and Jake like dark clouds swirling in the sky. Every glance exchanged, every tentative smile felt like stepping on a tightrope stretched over uncertainty. Mia could sense the tension building inside Jake, the way he meticulously avoided talk about his past. They often chose the safety of their shared stories, but the realities kept creeping in. One afternoon, as they sipped coffee in the cafe, a familiar voice shouted from across the street. Mia's heart sank when she heard it. It was Janet, her old friend from high school, transformed now into an embodiment of her judgments. The woman strutted down the sidewalk with a group of women from their neighborhood, eyes scanning and lips whispering, each glance toward Mia dripped with condescension. "Look at her, still struggling," Janet said loud enough for Mia to hear. "Thought she had it all figured out." The words pierced through Mia like a raw wound. She clenched her fists, not wanting to show the hurt that festered within. But Jake caught the hurt in her gaze. He turned, his body tense, a protective stance blooming as he stepped just slightly closer to Mia. He knew it was easy for some to cast judgment without stepping into her shoes. "Mia, don't let them get to you," he said quietly, his voice steady and reassuring. She tried to summon a confident smile, but it faltered. "It's hard, you know. I thought we'd moved past that." "Looks like some never learn," Jake replied, a fire igniting in his eyes. "You're doing your best, and that matters more than what they think." She turned toward him, appreciating the solidarity he offered. It felt comforting, yet heavy, knowing they were both feeling the weight of labels in their small town. The rain poured relentlessly outside, an echo of their frustrations, but amidst the downpour, Mia felt a flicker of something she hadn't dared to embrace before, her own resilience. "Can we do something? Like, maybe, organize a meeting?" She burst out suddenly, determination licking at her insides. "Not just for me but for others who feel overlooked." His surprise was palpable. He narrowed his eyes, taking a moment to grasp the gravity of her words. "Bring the community together? It might not be easy than it won't be easy, but maybe it's what we need," she replied, a glimmer of hope lighting her eyes. "We can help each other. I can talk about my struggles, and you could share yours. There are so many who feel just as we do." Jake's face shifted from doubt to intrigue. "You really think they'd show up?" "I have to believe they will." Just then, thunder erupted outside, shaking the cafe even more. They could hear the downpour hammering against the windows, yet amid the chaos of nature, Mia felt clarity. Everything was uncertain: the weather, her future, and the scrutiny from those around her. But in this moment, she felt the stirring of a shared mission blossoming between her and Jake. "Let us do it, Mia," he said firmly, a grin breaking across his face. "Let us turn their judgment into a movement." As they sat drafting plans, ideas flowed freely: a meeting place, flyers to pass out, topics to discuss, but also fears lurked behind them. How would the community react? Would they resonate with their stories? The rain might have fallen harder than ever, but within the loud downpour was the sound of a fragile hope being born. They were on the edge of a storm of another kind, one that could either uplift or tear them apart. With each passing moment, Mia's heart raced. Could they really pull this off? And just as doubt began to seep back in, another thunderclap reverberated, resolving Mia's uncertainty into one simple truth: they had to try. But as she prepared to step into this whirlwind of change, another storm was brewing, one that would challenge their resolve in ways they could never imagine. Would they be able to withstand both the external pressure of their community and the internal pressures of their own dreams? Mia and Jake moved quickly, armed only with a few sheets of paper and a simple plan. They chose the community center, a place that used to be vibrant but had fallen into neglect like so many things in their town. As they walked through the drizzle, Mia's stomach churned with excitement and nerves. Would anyone even care? Once inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed above them, illuminating dust particles that danced in the air. The space felt empty, but Mia envisioned it filled with people sharing stories, connecting, lifting each other up. Jake's presence beside her gave her the strength to push through that fear, urging her forward. "Let us put these flyers up," Mia suggested, her voice trembling just a bit as they began to tape the colorful sheets to the walls. Each flyer offered hope, a gathering of voices eager to stand together against the whispers of judgment. Despite the relentless rain outside, word spread like wildfire. At least, that's what Mia hoped. By the time they had finished hanging the last flyer, her heart was pounding but also delightfully light, hopeful that there would be an audience waiting. As days passed, she found herself anxiously checking for responses. She gave herself pep talks in the mirror. "You can do this, Mia. You deserve to be heard." Yet every time she caught sight of a familiar face, her confidence wobbled. Then, one afternoon, she glanced at her phone and saw a notification and RSVP from the community center page. All of a sudden, her breath hitched in her throat. People actually wanted to come. A rush of warmth flooded her heart. That evening, while they finalized arrangements, Mia noticed a shadow of worry pass over Jake's face. "What's on your mind?" she asked, her fingers fiddling with the edge of a flyer. "I'm just wondering if sharing our stories is enough," he said, looking away as if he were staring hard at a distant memory. "What if we open a can of worms? I've buried so much, and now I'm not sure I'm ready to spill it." Mia felt the weight of his words sink in. The realization that they were both stepping into the unknown was a heavy burden, yet it was also liberating. But what if it gives someone else the strength to be brave? What if we could help each other heal? Jake met her eyes, and she saw the flicker of hope that mirrored her own. "You're right. We can't know unless we try." The day finally arrived, and as they prepared to welcome attendees, Mia stood at the front of the center, heart racing. She kept glancing toward the entrance. What if nobody came? But as if revealing her doubts, a small group trickled in. Their faces were tainted by familiarity and yet ripe with intrigue. With each new person who arrived, her spirit brightened. They chatted, some hesitant, others animated, trading real-life stories that seemed to ribbon around the room, stitching together collective feelings of isolation and resilience. As the evening progressed, Mia felt that lightning bolt of courage strike her. Now was the time. She stepped to the front and took a deep breath. "Thank you all for being here. It takes bravery to show up, and together, we can face whatever storms lie ahead." Just then, someone raised a hand. "What if we don't know how to start sharing?" That simple question unleashed a wave of emotions. Everyone voiced their own struggles, fears, and hopes. Mia watched Jake as he sat, wrapped with attention and quiet understanding, and she felt a surge of gratitude. But just as the mood lightened, a strong gust of wind slammed against the center's doors, rattling the space and shifting the energy like a turbulent wave. Moments later, in walked Janet, uninvited and unwelcome. "Seriously? A support group for people who can't figure their lives out?" she sneered, arms crossed defiantly. The air crackled with tension as curious eyes darted back and forth between Mia and Janet. Mia's heart sank, but hidden within that weight was a spark of something new. She had come too far to let old judgments derail her now. "We are here to lift each other up, Janet. Your negativity doesn't define us." The room held its breath, all eyes on the confrontation. It felt like the thunder from that stormy day before, but this time, they were ready. Would this moment shatter her resolve or empower it? With everything she'd gained, she prepared to meet this new challenge head-on. As voices began to rise again, Mia sensed that the real storm was just beginning. Mia took a deep breath, her heart racing as she faced Janet's piercing gaze. The low murmurs of the group shifted to an anxious silence, all eyes fixed on the unfolding drama. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was their moment, too. "Look," Mia began, her voice steadying as she stepped forward, feeling both vulnerable and emboldened. "We may not have everything figured out, but that's okay. We're here because we want to be better, to understand ourselves and one another." Janet rolled her eyes, but Mia pressed on. "Your words only add weight to the burdens we carry. It's time we stop letting people like you dictate how we feel about ourselves. Your judgment doesn't define our worth." Jake, watching intently, felt a surge of pride as Mia stood her ground. He could sense the collective energy in the room shifting. The group nodded, murmurs of encouragement slowly bubbling up. Slowly, they began to echo Mia's sentiments. "Yeah. We're not here to be belittled." A voice chimed from the back. "Exactly," another added. "We're supporting each other." The tension in the room shifted from fear to a powerful solidarity. Janet's expression hardened, but there was an unmistakable crack in her armor, a flicker of uncertainty amidst her bravado. She opened her mouth to respond, but Mia could see the wind had gone out of her sails. "Why don't you share your story with us, Janet?" someone suggested cautiously. For a heartbeat, silence fell again, as everyone waited for Janet's reaction. Initially, she looked taken aback, but a smirk quickly returned. I don't have a story. I just know when people are playing the victim. With each dismissive word, Mia felt more of the group rallying behind her. We're not victims, she said, refusing to back down. We're survivors. And for the first time, Mia saw a glimmer of hesitation in Janet's eyes. It was palpable. Had Janet ever faced her own struggles? It was a thought that hung heavy in the air, a realization that sometimes the loudest critics hide their own insecurities beneath a shield of contempt. Mia took another step forward. This is a safe space, Janet. You're invited to share if you'd like. Maybe we'll surprise you. The group shifted, creating a palpable wave of emotion. Janet stood there, arms crossed, her confidence waffling like a flickering light, and then, with an exasperated sigh, she turned on her heel and marched out the doors, leaving the fresh rain to wash away the tense moment. The room broke into a combination of cheers and nervous laughter as relief washed over everyone. Mia felt a warmth spread inside her. This was the community she had hoped for. Their strength wasn't just about talking, it was also about standing together, even against naysayers. Let us share our stories, Jake suggested, taking a step forward. Let us show each other how we've battled and what we've overcome. Mia nodded enthusiastically, clapping her hands together. Yes. Who would like to go first? A woman in the corner raised her hand. I'd like to share. I've never done this before, but I think it's time. As the stories flowed, each voice echoed with courage and unison, a tapestry woven with shared experiences of loss, hope, and heavy lessons. Mia felt a bond blossoming, one that hinted at future healing, but amidst the heartfelt exchanges, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that the night had only scratched the surface. It was an opening, an exciting beginning. What had started as a small support group was morphing into something much bigger, a movement, perhaps. But what challenges might arise next? And in that thought, Mia glanced toward the door, where a figure lingered just outside. She squinted through the fading light, a mix of dread and anticipation coiling in her chest. What came next would impact everything they had set out to build. The door creaked open, breaking Mia's thoughts. In the doorway stood a tall figure, silhouetted by the fading light. It was a man, drenched from the rain, with an expression that was both serious and strangely familiar. As he stepped into the room, Mia's heart raced again, but this time it was different. There was a gnawing sense of confusion. Sorry to interrupt, he started, his voice steady but tinged with concern. I'm looking for someone. He scanned the room, but his eyes quickly landed on Mia. That moment felt electric. The air thickened as everyone turned to see who this newcomer was and why he seemed so determined. Mia swallowed hard, unsure whether to step back or invite him in. Who are you looking for? Mia managed to ask, her voice a little shaky. I'm Alex. I'm here for you, Mia, he said, his tone urgent yet calm. A ripple of murmurs spread across the group, questions flickering like fireflies in the dark. What do you mean you're here for her? Jake asked, stepping forward protectively. The shift in energy was palpable. After the confrontation with Janet, everyone was still riding that wave of solidarity. Alex held up his hands, palms out, trying to quell the rising tension. I can explain. It's a long story, but trust me, I'm not a threat. I'm more like a guardian, if you will. Mia felt a knot forming in her stomach. A guardian? For what? Why me? The details are complicated, he began, pacing slightly in the small space. Let us just say there's been some concern for your safety and I've been assigned to make sure you're all right. Concern? Assigned? Confusion morphed into alarm within Mia's chest. The room buzzed with an array of emotions: curiosity, fear, disbelief. She thought about Janet and how vulnerability had transformed into empowerment moments ago. Now, facing this stranger, the feeling shifted again. Assigned by who? She pressed on, feeling a blend of anxiety and determination. And why would anyone care enough to? Alex stepped closer, glancing at the group before speaking quietly, almost conspiratorially. Because I believe you're about to do something big. And big things attract attention, good and bad. You don't know this yet, but what you're building isn't just a support group. It's about to become a movement. The weight of his words sank into her. She turned to her friends, seeing their reactions mirror her own conflicting emotions, both excitement and fear. Jake's expression flickered between protectiveness and support. What do you mean we're a movement? We're just sharing our stories, Mia said, a distinct confusion in her voice. Alex straightened, a determined look crossing his face. The stories you're sharing can change lives. They already are. You might not see it yet, but your voice is powerful. And everyone knows when something powerful is about to rise up. There are forces that don't want that to happen. Silence enveloped the room. The gravity of his statement settled in, capturing everyone's attention. Mia's heart raced anew, not just out of fear but also a newfound sense of purpose. What do we do then? She asked, her voice trembling but firm. Alex hesitated, glancing back as if weighing his words. We prepare. I can help you, but first, you need to understand what you're getting into. It's not just sharing anymore, it's about fighting for what you believe in. Warmth spread through Mia again. This wasn't just a gathering anymore, it could be something monumental. Something that could change lives, but as hope blossomed, so did a dark cloud of uncertainty. And what happens if we don't prepare? She whispered, a faint tremor in her voice. Before Alex could answer, the door swung open again, this time with an unexpected guest. The tension in the room twisted tighter, and Mia's heart dropped as she recognized the new visitor. Could the true challenge be lurking closer than they thought? Mia's breath caught in her throat as the new visitor stepped inside, shaking off droplets from the rain. It was someone she never expected to see again, her older sister, Claire. Mia barely recognized her, the once vibrant sister now looking fragilized and uncertainty clouding her usually bright eyes. Mia? Claire's voice trembled, mingling with astonishment and fear. The entire room went still as her presence sent shockwaves through the group. What's happening here? What are you doing here? Mia asked, trying to mask her own shock with a hint of defiance. The past they had shared felt like an ocean away, and now Claire seemed like a ghost from a life Mia was beginning to leave behind. I got a call, Claire stuttered, glancing at Alex, then back to Mia. I was worried when I heard about your group. I thought I'd come and see for myself. Worried? Since when do you care? Mia shot back, the old hurt resurfacing. Memories of their last argument flashed through her mind, the harsh words exchanged, the feeling of betrayal. You just disappeared when I needed you most. I know I messed up. Claire took a step closer, her hands trembling. But I'm here now. I want to help. Please. Help? You? Mia's voice was laced with disbelief. She felt the vibrant energy in the room shift once more, now tinged with a mix of nostalgia and resentment from her friends. Jake clenched his fists, ready to defend Mia at any moment. Alex took a deep breath, stepping between the sisters. Let us all take a breath. His calming presence filled the room like a balm. Claire, why don't you explain what you know about Mia's situation? Claire nodded slowly, her vulnerability laid bare. I was contacted too about the group. They said it's not just a support network. There are people who want to stop it for their own reasons. I couldn't bear to see Mia get hurt again. Not like before. Before? Mia echoed, her heart pounding loudly in her chest. What did you hear? It's complicated, but Claire hesitated, glancing at Alex for support. There are threats, Mia. People who don't want to see you succeed. I couldn't stay away. Mia felt a mix of emotions swirling inside her. Could she trust her sister again? Could she trust Alex too? Saving lives or fighting for a cause seemed loftier and riskier now, as shadows of doubt danced around them. Mia, look, you're stronger than anything that's coming, Alex said. And you're not alone. With Claire back, you have family on your side. And what if that family is part of the problem? Jake interjected, his protective instinct still on high alert. How do we know this is not some trap? Claire stepped back, her shoulders sagging under the weight of the accusations. I love you, Mia. I messed up. But I've changed. I swear. The silence that enveloped them was thick with unspoken words, histories, and old grudges. Mia looked into her sister's eyes. Could she see sincerity in those familiar yet distant features? Or were they just the remnants of her past? What are we really dealing with here? Mia asked, her heart in her throat. And what do we need to prepare for? Alex took a moment to gather his thoughts. For starters, we must establish what you're up against. Claire can help us learn more, but it requires trust. And it's up to you. Mia looked around the room at Jake, at Claire, at all her friends who had fought so hard to create a safe space. Her thoughts raced. Did she have what it took to lead a movement? Did she want to stand at the forefront of something that potentially endangered those she loved? A knock suddenly echoed through the silence, sharper than the rain outside. Mia's heart skidded to a halt as she exchanged glances with Alex and Jake. They all sensed the gravity of the moment. The real challenge was finally knocking at their door. Who is it this time? Mia whispered, adrenaline flooding her as the potential answer loomed. Mia's heart raced, each thud echoing the uncertainty swirling in the room. She took a cautious step forward, her senses heightened. The persistent rain outside drummed on the roof as if urging her to confront whatever awaited them. The tension was palpable, even Claire remained silent, her previously vibrant demeanor now a shadow of uncertainty. Should I open it? Mia asked quietly, glancing at Alex, who nodded slightly, his expression serious. Be careful, he said. With trembling hands, Mia reached for the door handle. A wave of memories flooded back, memories of Claire leaving, of feeling abandoned, of always being the one left to pick up the pieces. She drew a deep breath, steadying her fight-or-flight instincts, and pulled the door open. Standing in the doorway was a stranger, cloaked in an oversized trench coat, raindrops sliding off his broad shoulders. His eyes, sharp and assessing, locked onto Mia's. Behind him, the darkened street was a flowing river of rain, blurring the outlines of the nearby buildings. I'm looking for Mia, the stranger said, his voice steady, but laced with urgency. Who are you? Mia asked, the defiance bubbling back to the surface. My name is Carter. I've been sent to protect you. There's a serious threat against you, and it's time for you to leave. Leave? I'm not going anywhere. Mia crossed her arms defiantly. The emotions surged back: fear, anger, a flicker of hope mixing together into a complicated brew. Mia, please, you need to listen, Carter continued, his tone intense yet level. I know this is hard to believe, but your sister is right. There are individuals targeting the people in your network. They want to stop you at all costs. Jake stepped forward, his posture protective. How can we trust you? Carter's gaze darted between them, not flinching. I understand your hesitance. But I'm not the enemy here. We can talk more, but we need to move quickly. They may already be on their way. Mia felt the weight of every pair of eyes on her, not just the stranger's, but her friends. The long-divided family history, judgment coursing through Claire, the unyielding loyalty of Jake, and even Alex. She could see the concern carved into his features. Could she throw caution to the wind and trust this man? I want to just run, Mia declared, her voice steadier than before. I want to know what's happening. If there's a threat, we face it together. I will not abandon my friends or my cause. We fight. Claire, who had been lingering in the background, stepped forward. Mia, you don't understand the danger. I couldn't live with myself if something happened to you because of me. But I can't hide. Not again, Mia said, a fire sparking within her, igniting her frustrations into resolve. We built something here that matters. Carter sighed, a flicker of admiration crossing his face. You're brave, but bravery alone isn't enough. Sometimes, you need to know when to step back. We can't defeat an enemy that we don't understand. The words hung in the air like heavy fog, thick with the weight of the decision before her. Mia could feel the impending storm brewing, but there was something even larger than the rain outside. It was more than survival, it was about standing her ground. As she took a deep breath, determination flared through her. If we're going to learn what we're dealing with, we can't do it alone. We need all the information we can gather. Just as Mia finished speaking, her phone buzzed on the table. It was a message. Her heart raced as she glanced at the screen. They're coming for you. Trust no one. Every ounce of bravado surged within her, but it flipped into a tight knot of dread. A wave of true urgency washed over them, and reality pressed in sharply. Who could she really trust? What's our move now? Mia asked, the noise of the storm matching the tumult in her heart. It was time to confront the truth, but at what cost? Carter locked eyes with her, and she could feel the weight of the choice hanging in the balance. The next step would change everything. Little did she know, it was only the beginning. What happens next will define us all, he warned, before looking toward the door. And time is running out. Mia could hear the rain intensifying outside, pounding against the pavement as if trying to break through the tension that hung in the air. Every drop seemed to echo her heartbeat, fast, frantic, and completely out of rhythm with the calm she was trying to project. She could feel Claire's anxiety bubbling beneath the surface, just waiting to erupt. Carter, she finally said, meeting his sharp gaze without wavering. What exactly do you know about the threat? About me? He hesitated for what felt like forever, then took a step inside, the door creaking as he pushed it wider. We don't have time for all details, but I'll give you what you need right now. There are people who believe you hold information, something they want, something very powerful. Mia exchanged glances with Jake and Claire. She could read the worry etched on their faces, the questions swirling in their minds. What kind of information? I don't even know what you're talking about. Carter's face darkened, and for just a moment, Mia saw fear flash in his eyes. That's exactly the problem. You're in the middle of something much bigger than you understand. And it's not just you who's in danger. Your friends, your family may be too. She swallowed hard, trying to process the weight of his words. Every time she had pushed herself to the forefront, every moment she had fought for what she believed in, it might now be putting others at risk. The doubts flooded in, muddying her resolve. No, she said, shaking her head. I won't let fear control me. We face this together. The conviction behind her words surprised even her, but it was fueled by the flicker of hope that had ignited within her. Claire stepped toward Mia, her face softening. Mia, it's not just about bravery. It's understanding the situation clearly. We need a plan. We don't have time for a plan. Carter's urgency sliced through the moment, making it feel almost surreal. They're already on their way. Trust your instincts, Mia. Right now, you need to decide. Decide what? She asked, the rising panic bubbling beneath her determination. Follow me and find safety, he said, gesturing to the darkened street just outside. Or stay here, but be ready to face whatever is coming for you. Mia felt the weight of the decision crushing down on her. Her heart raced again, not from fear this time, but from a fire igniting in her chest. Alongside anger and worry simmering in her emotional pot, came clarity. I'll stay, she declared. We need to prepare. If they're coming for me, then we'll give them something to remember. Carter studied her, his expression shifting as if he were reevaluating his perception of her. You're sure about this? Yes. Mia exclaimed, her voice firm. If they want to fight, then we'll at least meet them with our eyes wide open. All around them felt charged with an electric tension, like the calm before a storm. She could sense the support of Jake and Claire behind her. They were in this together. It felt good, empowering even. The sound of thunder rumbled in the distance, punctuating her declaration. Can we get inside your head for a moment, Carter? Mia continued, if they're coming, we need information. We can't take them by surprise if we're the ones in the dark. I can give you what little intel I have, names, locations, and what they're after. But it's not enough, he admitted, a hint of frustration creeping into his voice. Then we make it enough, Mia said, feeling a sense of purpose pulse within her. We're not waiting for the storm to hit us. We'll gather intel, put all our pieces together, and be ready. But tell me the names. As Carter began to list off possible threats, Mia's phone buzzed again. She glanced at the screen only to see a new message from an unknown number. You've made a choice. Brace yourself for the consequences. Mia blinked at the screen, her heart sinking. What had she gotten herself into? Do we even know what's coming at us? Jake asked, his voice filled with concern. Mia took a deep breath, letting the weight of that new uncertainty wash over her. I guess we're about to find out, the room filled with a charged silence, heavy with anticipation. Outside, the rain continued to fall relentlessly, a reminder that the storm was only just beginning. And deep down, she knew she had to be ready for whatever that storm might bring next. Let us get to work, she said, her voice steady. But the question itching in her mind was louder than the storm. What truly awaited them on the other side of the door? Mia felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders like a heavy cloak. The dim light from the single bulb overhead flickered, and she glanced at the others. Jake's jaw was tight, his eyes scanning the shadows outside, while Claire's fingers fidgeted, betraying her restless nerves. Okay, let us focus, Mia said, trying to inject some steadiness into the room. Carter, tell us what you know. Every bit helps. Carter looked at her, a mix of admiration and guardedness flashing across his face. The names I mentioned, they're part of a larger network. They're after intel that could put everyone at risk, financial, personal, you name it. It's all tied to something involving your family. Her stomach dropped. My family? What do they want with them? Your father worked on a project, classified material that went way beyond the usual company secrets. It's in the past, but they believe it ties to something still powerful now. Shock rippled through her. So, they think I know something? Exactly. The more they dig, the riskier it becomes. Carter's voice dropped, the gravity filling the space. They're skilled and ruthless. You can't underestimate them. Mia's heart raced. This was surreal. Just a few days ago, she was caught up in the usual routine, oblivious to the threats lurking just beneath the surface. Now it felt like her life was a twisted plot in a suspense novel. Are there any specific individuals we should be wary of? Claire asked, her voice fragile but determined. Carter nodded. There's one in particular, Lucas Reed. He's a master manipulator. He'll do whatever it takes to get what he wants. If he thinks you have information, he'll stop at nothing. Mia swallowed hard. Then we need to learn how he operates. I refuse to be hunted like prey. Jake spoke up, maybe we can find a way to turn this to our advantage. If we dig into this Lucas guy, find out what he knows and then use that against him, Mia finished, her pulse quickening. She could see it now, turning the tables. They would take control back, not just for themselves but for her family too. As they fell into a rhythm of strategizing, her phone buzzed again. The screen lit up with another message, and panic surged through her veins. Mia, it's time to make your move. Don't keep us waiting. All the air left the room as they exchanged anxious glances. What did this mean? Carter, do you think it's him? Claire asked, her voice low, almost hesitant. I can't say for sure, but it's a strong possibility, he replied, running a hand through his hair. Clearly agitated, Mia could feel the weight of dread creeping in. We need to counteract whatever move they're planning. We can't wait for them to make the first strike. Let us not panic, Jake said, trying to break through the building tension. We need to act fast, but we can't rush blindly. After a moment of silence, Mia looked around. We can set up a perimeter. We'll get eyes on every direction. And we can gather intel, maybe even a lead on Lucas. If we're quick and smart, we could keep one step ahead. Let us split up, Claire suggested. We can cover more ground that way. Mia felt a sense of unity in their resolve, even amid looming uncertainties. Jake, you and I can handle the digital side. Claire, you take a look around the neighborhood, see if you spot anything out of place. Carter, we need you to be our inside man. He nodded, a spark igniting in his eyes. I can make that happen, but you all need to be careful. As they all hustled into action, a surge of adrenaline coursed through Mia. They were no longer waiting for the storm, they were stepping into it head first, armed with purpose, but a nagging thought plagued her. What if they weren't as prepared as they thought? What if Lucas Reed was already in motion, ready to dismantle everything they fought to protect? Her heart pounded as they made their final preparations, the rain continuing to hammer the world outside. She took a deep breath. Let us go. As they dispersed, Mia's phone buzzed once more. She opened the message, her heart dropping. You'll never see it coming. The words sent chills down her spine. What lay in wait just beyond the door? Would they truly be ready for whatever was looming in the shadows? Mia stood at the precipice of change, her heart racing, thoughts swirling like the storm outside. The weight of the moment settled on her shoulders as she felt the force of her friends behind her. They would fight together. They were no longer just a group sharing stories, they had formed a unit, ready to brave the dark unknown. You know what we're up against now, Carter said, urgency lacing his voice as they gathered around a makeshift table cluttered with laptops and notes. The sooner we move, the better. Mia took a steadying breath, her resolve solidifying. All right, let us get to work. If Lucas Reed thinks he can intimidate us, he's got another thing coming. Jake stood beside her, mirroring her determination, while Claire glanced out the window, scanning the rain-slicked street. The energy in the room was electric, a mix of fear and anticipation, almost palpable as they each prepared to take action. First, let us work on finding out everything we can about this Lucas guy, Jake suggested, fingers flying over the keyboard as he searched for any public records or social media ties. Mia nodded, her heart racing at the thought of uncovering the mystery they were up against. Carter, do you have any leads? Claire turned, looking directly at him. Anything we can work with? I've made some connections who might have information about Lucas's operations, Carter replied. But we need someone to meet them discreetly. It's risky, but if you want the intel, it's necessary. Mia felt a knot of anxiety tighten in her stomach. I'll go, she stated with surprising confidence. I can handle myself. What? No way, Jake interjected, worry framing his face. We can't risk you. I'm not backing down, Jake. Not now, she interrupted, steel in her voice. This is about my family and everyone we've fought for. I won't let fear dictate our next step. Her conviction silenced him, and he eventually nodded, albeit reluctantly. Fine. We'll go together then. If we don't take the lead, we might miss our chance. As they prepared to leave, a knock echoed through the room, thrusting them all into tense silence. Everyone exchanged uneasy glances, the shift palpable and growing. Who could that be? Claire whispered, the shadows in her eyes deepening. Mia motioned for silence, her heart pounding as she moved toward the door. Once again she took a breath, mind racing with possibilities, fears warring with hopes. Let us find out, she said quietly, opening the door. Standing in the dim light, a familiar face stepped forward, someone Mia had least expected. It was Janet. The judgmental scowl she knew all too well, turned now into something softer, a hint of surrender. I heard what you're planning, she managed, her voice wavering slightly, and I want to help. Mia's heart thudded in her chest, making space for the remnants of disbelief. Help? After everything? I was wrong, Janet replied, her eyes flickering with humility. I didn't understand before how hard some people fight just to be seen. I realize now that your group is doing something honorable. I'd like to join. The room fell silent, breaths held as Mia processed the unexpected offer. A part of her still clung to the pain of past words exchanged, but another part recognized that growth meant seeing past the struggles they had each faced. You think you can just join after the things you said? Jake challenged, arms crossed defiantly. Maybe she's right, Mia interjected. I've fought for my right to belong, and if she wants to stand with us, I won't deny her that chance. Murmurs of surprise filled the air, each word threading together a newfound perspective, a tentative understanding that echoed within the circle. Janet's expression shifted, and in the shared vulnerability of that moment, it was clear she wanted to atone. Fine, Jake relented, scrutinizing Janet's determination. But if you're in, you're all in. No half measures. A nod from Janet, brimming with resolve, showed Mia that perhaps they could turn this storm into an opportunity. They were set to rise together, united against whatever challenges awaited. Okay, Mia said, her voice solid as granite. Let us meet Carter's contacts, learn about Lucas, and make a plan. Together. The atmosphere changed, a sense of purpose enveloped them like a warm embrace amidst the thunderous rains pounding the world outside. As they stepped out into the storm, Mia's heart soared. Here were friends, unexpected allies, and a sisterhood bound not by judgment but by struggle, now willing to face the unknown. It felt like stepping into the sunlight after a long storm. Fragile but beautiful, Mia took a deep breath of cool, damp air and stepped forward, each step bringing them closer to triumph. The storm had tested them, yet it also had revealed their truth, their resilience anchored deep within. With one final glance at her friends, she smiled, that flaring sense of belonging blooming fiercely within. This wasn't just survival, it was a stand for something greater. They weren't just fighting for their stories, they were emerging as a force no one could easily dismiss. And whatever awaited them out there? They were ready. Now you need to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories, leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support, comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. We want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second. Only true fans understand the importance of backing the channel through these actions.